the change in the weather, Kevin? 11 o'clock it started to snow and snowed hard for an hour and a half, and now sunny skies.
Balmy.
It is a balmy 34 degrees out here. Let's see if the Aggies can get a good return. They've had some positive returns in that first half.
And maybe with the warmer sun out, you could see that Coach Anderson came out fired up out of the locker room. I can tell that he's challenged his team here in the second half.
Here's Jacobs from the 1. Breaks a tackle up past the 20. Spinning his way to the 30. He's still going. Finally brought down at the 40. Got another 40-yard return for Chuck Jacobs. 3 for over 40 yards. This Syscom Sports presentation of Utah State football is brought to you by Sports Academy. Your club, your results, your life. Cache Valley Bank. We are Cache Valley's bank. IFA Country Stores, helping to grow the things you love. Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Automatic Car Credit, where your car buying experience is automatic. GNC, live well. And by Cache Valley Oxygen, serving Cache Valley for over 30 years. So the Aggies start with a pass. I think that's Tialavea, the far side. Good pickup on first down, and they've used the tight ends. Lloyd had 2 catches in that first half.
Yeah, and this time just a little nice fake play action off of the boot action. Kennedy with a nice toss out to Tialavea. But I think Jacobs has been really the Utah State player of the game today, both in the kick game and also with that big catch down the sideline.
Robert Turbin, over 1,000 yards on the season, has a first down for Utah State. Well done.
Yeah,
the obsession or the admiration he had for the Hulk growing up, wanted to be like that muscly frame, and certainly he embodies that. And what a stretch he's had for the Aggies. Missed all of last year with an injury, but his sophomore year had over 1,000 yards, and now here in his junior year, over 1,000 yards once again. He's the 5th Aggie running back to do so. So congratulations to Robert Turbin. He said he liked the
offense number 68, 10-yard penalty, first down.
He liked the game in 2009 because that was the first time he's had a chance to play in the snow. Played in the snow in that first half and had that long touchdown run. See if he can continue it with better conditions.
Well, they're going to need it. Utah State, you can tell Coach Anderson obviously challenged his football team at halftime. What did he say? Grown men play this game. You got to man up. And he's clearly challenged his team to come out with some ferocity here in the second half.
Well, the more physical team will win this game. There's Turbin again, and right now it's been the Spartans. Even though they've given up over 100 yards in that first half, they've still done a nice job with that rush defense. To me, it's with special teams, the 2 biggest stories in this game.
No doubt about it. And they're trying to force Kennedy to obviously beat them with his arm. Thus far, he hasn't been able to do so. Only 9 of 13 there in the first half for 100 yards. Did have the completion here to begin this drive to Tialavea. But they are going to force Kennedy, especially when you get a holding penalty. Only the second penalty of the game forces Utah State into a 2nd and long.
2nd and 18, and this isn't going to work. Morrison caught in the backfield. Well, Johnson was there, and this this rush defense for the Spartans continues to impress. Anacho also there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has defended the Aggie run this well all season long.
Wow, Spartans, the passing game, they just have the one big pass play, and so they're really keen on this running attack. And you talked about Kent Bear, longtime Aggie, doing a great job as a defensive coordinator for this Spartan team. Here's the big ball, and Yell had good coverage on Jacobs.
So after an initial first down, the holding penalty. Only the 2nd penalty of the ball game for either side. San Jose State, as you mentioned, only averages 3 penalties a ball game, 0 in the first half. Utah State's big holding penalty creates a long opportunity for that Aggie offense they can't cash in.
So they can pin him inside the 20. Booming punt, but it goes into the end zone. So a chance there, but unable to do so. And when we come back, the Spartans will be at the 20. A chance to add to their lead. 20-6. Spartans back on offense. This will be their first possession of the 3rd quarter. leading 20-7 against the Aggies. Good quarterback play by Matt Faulkner, but not the same quarterback when he has that pressure. Of course, no quarterback enjoys the pressure and really performs well under that kind of stress. And let's see if the Aggies get more physical up front and send more guys. Here's a tackle for loss to start this third quarter.
And Coach Anderson, as a defensive coordinator, is going to fire this defense up. We don't see Bobby Wagner's name on the stat sheet anywhere in the first half. The league leader in tackles hasn't really had an impact yet on this ball game. What did Coach Anderson say at halftime? Players make plays. And it's a grown man's game that they're playing out there. And it's going to be grown men that have to come forward here in the second half.
Coming into this game, 5 tackles away from 400. Catch for a first down. So the passing game working well for the Spartans. That again is Kyle Nunn. Just his second catch and 12th overall. The sophomore from Carson, California. Able to get past Robertson.
And when Faulkner's had time, he's been very accurate today. The Aggies are probably going to have to dial up more pressure and maybe play a little bit more man coverage on the outside because they just have not been able to consistently get in Faulkner's face.
Kevin, they need a turnover. I know you kind of talked about that in the first half. Coach Anderson said good defenses every 30 snaps force a turnover. It's been a while. Going downfield, it's a little contact as Otten went down. They had a big first half.
Little change up. This was that same play that they ran in the first half with a little wheel route by Otten. This time they had Bobby Wagner coming with pressure, and Bowden that time was out on the outside with Otten, the big tight end, and Bowden was able to stay with him.
Another look at it. Otten going down. Sets up a 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. Moving on that defensive front. I think it was Big Al again. This one dropped by Nunn. I believe they were working on a free play.
Actually, there's no flag. I don't see a flag on the field.
No, my mistake. I mean, there's definitely movement.
I think everybody stopped. Everybody stopped. And they snapped it. Nope. And Nunn just dropped the football. He had a chance to go a long way with this ball if he catches it right there.
Well, Ruben Hassani did the smart thing. He snapped it. Once Al came across, and it was just dropped by Nunn. Oh, bizarre play there.
As it stands, it brings up a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, right.
And the Aggie defense a chance to get off the football field.
Big 3rd down. 3 of 7 on 3rd downs of the Spartans. Here comes pressure, and then the penalty marker is out.
Offense.
Delayed game on the quarterback. Faulkner kind of talked about that. The least penalized team in the WAC in terms of yardage. One of the leaders in the nation. But committing a penalty on a 3rd down, no less.
It almost seemed like everybody was so stunned that there was no offside called on that last play that nobody got back into their rhythm in terms of getting a play call and getting to the line and getting things moving. And now a 3rd and 15, a terrific opportunity for this Utah State defense. And let's see if Coach Anderson will dial up pressure.
So they can force a turnover on a 3rd down. Here's Faulkner. Pressure coming by Wagner. Should be a hold as Koskin with a sack on the 10.
I think he lost the football as well. Utah State hasn't.
So there's the turnover on 3rd down. Koskin looked like he had him in the grasp and somehow able to strip that football as well. Terrific play by Koskin.
Holding offense number 55. Penalty is declined. First down.
So it was Wagner coming up the middle that gets held right there in the middle of the screen, but then Koskin, with Faulkner really holding the ball out loosely, Koskin got a hold of him, stripped it away from his right hand, fell on top of it himself, and the Cache Valley Kid makes a huge play for this Aggie football team to turn the momentum.
Love Levi Koskin from Smithfield, Utah, played at Skyview High School. 16 tackles coming to this, 4.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hurries. Has another sack here and the turnover. Aggies need to cash it in for 7. Here's Turbin, picking his way and moving that pile forward to about the 6-yard line.
And maybe that's a change-up that the Aggie offense will need to make. Maybe a little bit more power instead of the delayed draws or the sprint draws or the off tackles. Maybe a little bit more smash mouth. And part of that challenging of his football team that Gary Anderson talked about as he came out of the locker room.
It's the guys up front, they've got to make that push. Power formation with Talavea. Turbin again, trying to pick his way. There's no gap to run through. I guess they eventually blew the whistle there. Turbin inside the 5.
And one thing you notice, a lot of offensive, defensive lines kind of standing straight up. Not a lot of pushing straight forward, getting your pad level down and trying to move that pile. A lot of standing up straight, giving no gaps. As you said, you could see it from our angle. There were no gaps whatsoever for Turbin to make his way through. And I think right now you're in 4-down territory. I think you got to punch this one in.
That's strong. Let's see if it comes to that on a 3rd and 3. Turbin. There it is. Touchdown, Robert Turbin. His 2nd of the game. He had a 16 on the year, tying a Utah State record held by Abu Wilson back in '96.
And I like that call a lot. I mean, that was a play where Kennedy takes a snap going towards the line of scrimmage and riding Turbin in and allowing the offensive line to really fire off. You can see that line collapsing the defensive line for San Jose State, and then it's just the strength of the Hulk, Robert Turbin, getting into the end zone.
Of course, that whole series set up because of the defense. Koskin with the sack fumble, the recovery, just a short 3-play, 11-yard drive, 1:09 clock, and Robert Turbin, the Hulk, scoring. Back. Kevin, I want to buy you like a Forever Lazy suit. They have one of those. They should make it. But the defense leading to offense, getting back into this ballgame, they needed that badly.
Well, we talked about it right before it happened. You said the Aggie defense has got to force a turnover. They got it. Koskin made the big play. The Aggies able to punch it into the end zone, getting it right back. We've got a ball game now.
So the GNC is scoring drive, 3 plays, 11 yards. Turbin powering it in, and special teams. Let's see. That was good. It was a touchback, and now the Spartans will have the ball at the 20 with momentum with Utah State now. Let's see if they can continue this.
And I think that Coach Anderson clearly had some fiery things to say in the locker room. Came out and challenged his defense. Defense quickly made a stop, got the turnover, and got the offense back in position, making it a little bit easier for Kennedy, who really has played, I think, a shaky games thus far for Utah State.
It turned on that kind of bizarre offsides that wasn't called. Pressure coming. Here's Faulkner. They pick it up nicely. And catch made across the 30. Brooks Hansen, what do you have for us?
Hey guys, just watching after that motion on the defensive line as they came off the field. Both the coaches talked to them about moving around, being active defensively, and getting the pressure on the quarterback Faulkner. That's what you're going to see throughout the rest of the
Okay, thank you, Brooks. Still looks a little chilly down there, as even though the sun's out. Running play is pushing and shoving away from the play. Nothing called. Is coming up will be 2nd down.
Yeah, it still looks a little chilly down there, doesn't it? Even though the sun's out.
You can see their breath. You know, that's football weather, right? We like to see the breath.
Obviously the herd on the far side and the student section enjoying a little bit of sunshine coming down on them. Again, another key defensive series here for Utah State. They're early in the 3rd quarter, and they are bringing more pressure. Faulkner clearly not as comfortable with pressure coming at him, and has not been able to step up nearly as well here in the 2nd half.
2nd and 8. Oh, nice job by Will Davis. Terrific positioning, knocking the ball away. That's a great pass breakup by Davis.
And again, it's hard to get pressure when you've got a quick 3-step drop, or in this case in the shotgun, just a 1-step quick slant to the outside. That puts a lot of pressure on your defensive backs, and this time Davis up to the challenge, coming up and timing that play perfectly for that Aggie defense.
Talk about interceptions, how they only have 1 all year. He had one last week against Hawaii, but it was nullified because they called pass interference. Tough play against Will Davis. Does a nice job there to set up a 3rd and long. Faulkner with time, and it's caught for a 1st down. Stop him immediately at the 45, but they pick up the 1st.
Wow. 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. And again, good protection this time. Coach Anderson not dialing up the pressure this time. Just came with the front 4. Faulkner plenty of time. And a nice job in the timing with the route with Jones. He threw that ball before Jones had even made his out cut. That's tough to defend, and a good play for San Jose State to get that 1st down.
10-yard pass completion on a 3rd and 8. Here's Grigsby, who's been kind of quiet in that first half. Able to ride him down to about the 48. Penalty marker coming out. They're going to get, I think, Nevin Lawson. But Grigsby took his helmet off. Let's see. It looked like he kind of kicked the ball out of his hands.
Well, Lawson made the tackle. A lot of cushion to start.
Ball, personal foul, number 1, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
A lot of cushion to start, so a quick little hitch out to Grigsby. Lawson sort of rode him down to the turf on the play, so sort of a lasso tackle here, and then Lawson stands up and steps through him, pushes his head down, steps through him, inadvertently kind of kicks the football. Didn't really mean to do that, but still, in the process of stepping over the player, that's a bonehead play.
Puts the defense in a negative situation here. 1st and 10 from the 36. Caught again at the 30. Short passing attack has been effective for San Jose State. Again, it's Chandler Jones. Lost his shoe on the play.
And it's tough on a defensive coordinator. These short passes acts just like a run game, serves the purpose of a run game. You can't get pressure to the quarterback when he's catching the snap in the shotgun and taking one step and throwing it. It's very difficult to get pressure, and yet it's difficult to cover.
Keep it on the ground. Wagner makes the stop and out before he gets to the 25, and another first down. Now we're seeing that balance from the Spartans. It's been a good offensive game plan.
No doubt about it. They've had enough run attempts. I want to go back to that play by Lawson, though. Too many times in football these days we're seeing players step over the top of somebody they've just tackled. And even if you're not meaning to kick the football, like in that particular case, when you're stepping over the top of somebody, it's never going to end up good.
Keep it on the ground again. Rutley to about the 23-yard line. Back-to-back runs. First downs, Spartans with 16, Aggies with 11.
And what those personal foul penalties do is it slows your momentum down. It takes the juice and the air out of you as a defense, and it puts you in a negative, as you called it, a negative position now with San Jose State on the plus side of the 50 going in. Those personal foul penalties are killers. You got to play with poise at all times.
Approaching 6 minutes. Late pressure coming. Coverage by Gallagher, looking to the running back, Brandon Rutley, the senior from Martinez, California, coming in. Had 15 catches for 175 yards. Talk about Gallagher and Wagner. Those guys, probably the two best combo WAC linebackers.
Two of the
inside.
The top tackler and another one in the top 10. Great job by the Aggie defense in that linebacking core. Now on 3rd and 7, I got to believe that Coach Anderson's going to dial up some sort of pressure here and try to force another field goal attempt.
Somehow get a turnover, get an interception here. Can they do it? Here comes pressure. Going to set up the screen. Working beautifully. First down and much more. Rutley inside the 10. They're going to mark him out at the 6. Good play call using that pressure against the Aggies. Going back that other way. Now Rutley down, and this has kind of been the story for him. He has not been 100% the last several weeks. He's still down there.
Yeah, they're going to need to get some help over there, and here come the trainers. But you called it a terrific play design. The Aggies coming with a blitz, a man coverage, and they had Alfred Bowden that was sneaking up from the safety position to try to man up against Rutley that time. But he was late getting there. And as they had the screen set up, then he got clipped off by one of the offensive linemen, opening up the field for a 16-yard gain for San Jose State and giving them a 1st and goal.
He was the leading rusher for the Spartans in 2010, just 461 yards. Coming to this game, 650. Also a threat in the passing game. We see that here. This is how they like to use him in the flat on a screenplay. It's hard to see anything too violent there, other than just brought to the ground. And hopefully he'll be okay. Time for the defense to rally around. 5:48 left. We'll be Weekend with your family and at an Aggie football game. Saturday, November 26th, Utah State, Nevada. USU offering a family ticket package, which includes 4 tickets, 4 drinks, 4 hot dogs, and 4 long-sleeve Utah State t-shirts. To purchase a package, contact the Utah State ticket office, 1-888-U-STATE-1, or order online, UtahStateAggies.com. So Rutley goes off the field under his own power. Little ginger. Here's Faulkner. He's going to step it up and run, and he's going to be brought down at the 4. Not a bad decision that time. Didn't want to force anything, but picked up something. Clock now running inside 5.5 to play in the 3rd.
He had Ryan Otten, the big 6'6" tight end, split out man-to-man with Will Davis on the outside, and I think they wanted to do a little fade route. But at the last moment, Davis kind of shifted back about 5 yards off of Otten, which kind of shut down that opportunity and forced Faulkner to tuck it and run.
Spartans now running the I formation here. 2 receivers on the bottom of the screen. The ball came out. Center quarterback exchange issue, but Faulkner got on it before Big Al could get in there. Sets up a 3rd and goal now coming up for the Spartans.
Critical now for the Utah State defense to try to stand up tall and force just a field goal attempt. Got to keep them out of the end zone here. Even with the field goal, it would be a 2-score difference. But this was really all set up by the personal foul penalty right about midfield by Lawson for Utah State.
Crowd getting into it on a 3rd down. Here's Faulkner rolling, still looking. Pressure coming late, back end zone. And Lawson's going to be called. I believe it's going to be on Lawson for pass interference or a hold.
Boy, this one's a tough one, as this is both ways, jockeying for position, trying to hold, the receiver trying to, almost like a post-up move in basketball, trying to hold the defensive player off.
Defense number 1 on an eligible receiver. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And Lawson,
receiver, that's interesting.
And Lawson, trying to get around that post-up position. See if we can take a look at it. Boy.
I almost thought he was close to being out too, but I guess that's beside the point.
That's just a position play. Tough break for Lawson.
So 1st and goal for the Spartans. Here's Rutley. Does have 1 rushing touchdown earlier in the ball game. Nice defensive stop by Utah State.
That was Wagner cutting through this time. You can tell San Jose State does not look comfortable when they need to get a yard rushing the football. They're okay when they just have to, get their carries in, but when they need a yard, they just do not look very comfortable in the run game. If they're going to get in the end zone, it feels like, at least on this possession, they're going to have to use those tight ends, do something with play action, and now a little funky shift.
2nd and goal from the 4, play action. Faulkner throwing off the back of his foot. Dangerous play there. Just goes back end zone. Alford right there. Boy, that would be a huge turn of momentum if somehow they can force a turnover or an interception. Some type of, I know bobbled the snap earlier on this drive, but they could force a turnover and stop this momentum by the Spartans. That would be huge because, as you mentioned, another score, it's a 2-possession game.
Yeah, good job by the Aggie defense staying disciplined, even with the late shift by the offensive tackle and the tight end. The Aggie defense stayed firm and strong and position sound.
3rd and goal. Utah State will call a timeout. This, critical situation in this game with 3:31 left in the 3rd. Spartans yet to score in the 3rd quarter. Of course, the Aggies have the turnover and the touchdown. Their Utah State women's basketball team will host their first regular season home game on Wednesday, November 16th, as they take on Weber State. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. in the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Admission for adults, $5. For youth, only $1. For more information, call 1-888-U-STATE-1 or visit UtahStateAggies.com. There's the Aggie women picking up a win against Wyoming last night. So not only did the men win, but also the women. Coach Beasley's team, high expectations. Last year they went to the NIT, got to host Arizona, and beat the Wildcats.
A lot of good things happening with this Aggie athletic department and this Aggie athletic program.
Soccer making it to the NCAA tournament against Auburn. That's, I think, later on today. So 3rd and goal for the Spartans. Again, a massive shift. Faulkner now under center. Offset eye. Play action. And it's tipped, incomplete. Good coverage. A lot of blue jerseys there for the Aggies. That might have a chance for an interception, but they do get a pass breakup. Is that Davis again?
Again, Will Davis. This time climbing the ladder. Again, he's got, Otten's got, what, 6 inches on him? Watch him leap here. Up over the top. Look at that vertical leap to knock that pass away. And wouldn't that have been something to snare that thing with that one hand? As it stands, San Jose State will have to settle for a field goal attempt. Boy, what a great view there by our guys. Great job in the truck down there, and the cameramen weathering the storm here today.
Davis, 5'11" junior, as this field goal is up and good. So 3 for 3 on field goals.
I think that's a win, though, for the Aggie defense.
It is.
You give up the holding penalty, and you got 1st and goal inside the 5, and the Aggie defense stood firm and was able to force the field goal attempt.
Now Jens Alverneck just 10 of 15 coming into this game on field goals. Of course, they've all been kind of chip shots makeable, but 3 for 3, it's a big deal in this game. And now it's 23-14. What are a Coca-Cola trivia question? Utah State has appeared in 6 bowl games. Who is their opponent in the 1947 Raisin Bowl? That was a New Year's Day game. So it's the 46th season, but it was January 1st in 1947. Kevin, we'll let you think about that a little bit.
Somebody give me the media guide. Somebody text in.
The Raisin
Bowl.
Unfortunately, that's no longer in existence.
It hasn't been for probably 55 years.
It's been a while. Also, the Gotham Bowl the Aggies have participated in. So, just trivia out there. We'll give you some time to think about it. Wade with the kickoff. And Utah State, this is where they've been excellent. Jacobs stopping and starting, now going backwards. Breaking tackles, in trouble inside the 10, won't go down, finally does. See if they'll give him any forward progress, they will. They'll say at the 11 instead of at the 6. Trying to make something happen, but went backwards, always a bad idea.
No doubt about it. Obviously he's made some big plays, but Coach Anderson, I looked over to him as Jacob started running backwards. You could see he made it all the way to the 23-yard line. Lost 12 yards as he started going backwards. Coach Anderson walking down to the other side of the sideline, just shaking his head.
Well, you got to like the effort, though. Here's Morrison breaking tackles and shoved out of bounds across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. Good pickup on 1st down.
And we thought we might see a little bit more of the Wildcat, or as the Utah State Aggies like to call it, the Aggie Cat.
Aggie Wild,
the Aggie Wild.
Yeah.
And Morrison, a former quarterback, out of the Wildcat, can throw, as we saw last week in those 2 fake punts.
So Morrison in again on the Aggie Wild, fakes the pitch, has a 1st down. Brought down across the 22 to about the 23-yard line.
So Aggie offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin sensing he needs a little spark with this Aggie offense. Doesn't seem like Kennedy is going to have the ability to drive the Aggies long distances. They're going to have to do some home run kinds of stuff. Changing it up this time with Morrison in the backfield. Let's see now if they'll run the fake and let Morrison throw it.
Well, Hughes is listed as the number 2 quarterback. Instead, they're going with this Wildcat offense. And here we go. Bust loose. There goes Smith. One man to beat. Touchdown, Aggies. Michael Smith. Well, that's a home run play. My goodness.
And the quick little changeup. Sometimes we saw it last week when Kennedy came in. The second-team quarterback, they weren't prepared for him. He was able to sling it all over the field and bring the Aggies back. This time, a couple of Wildcat carries by Morrison, and Smith, the speedster, getting out to the sideline and taking it 78 yards for the score. Utah State right back in it.
Michael Smith with that home run ability. He's been bottled up all game long. Gets free. And now it's a totally different game as Thompson adds the point after. Well, how about this? A 2-point game. The margin almost seemed larger than that because the Aggie offense hasn't been able to do much. Insert Morrison, your receiver who played some quarterback in high school. And, doesn't throw the ball, but they run it a few times. And creates this play on the edge.
Simple zone read. Great job by the Aggie offensive line to seal it down, and then Van Leeuwen with a good block on the outside. Then it's a foot race. And Smith's going to win that one 9 times out of 10. And Smith takes it to the house, and just like that, the Aggies right back in this ball game. Whereas you're right, it felt like the Aggie offense wasn't going to be able to do much to try to get it back to where they can be in distance, within striking distance of winning this ball game. The insert of Morrison, really the difference on that drive.
Officially a 77-yard touchdown run by Michael Smith, the senior from Tucson, Arizona, with the JC routes in eastern Arizona. On the season, 57 attempts for 415 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now he's got touchdown number 5. And a spark here for Utah State. The waning moments of the third quarter. Going to get a stop on special teams. And they do so. Good time on the coverage team. They're excited out there, Kevin.
They are. Yeah, and that's exactly what the defense needed, was the offense to do something to get the spark back. Now, the Aggies on the last possession, obviously they scored the touchdown after the fumble by Faulkner, but then San Jose State able to go on a long sustained drive. The Aggie defense didn't get a lot of rest there. Only 46 seconds off the clock, but a lot of times the score will give the adrenaline rush even more of a push and not the rest. That's not quite as important as the adrenaline, and so the Aggie defense now has got to stand up.
On a first down, there's a running play. Not much, a gain of 1. So earlier we asked you who was the opponent for Utah State in the 1947 Raisin Bowl, and the answer
I'm going to say San Jose State.
Was it too obvious?
Well, I think I got it because it came up on the screen. Right as it came up on the screen, I got it. The Spartans from San Jose State. And
the Spartans actually won that game 20-0, but some history in the postseason with these two programs. Mentioned the 34th meeting, spanning 2 different conferences. Kevin thinks maybe a third coming up soon. Well, somehow able to break it. That good effort that time by Chandler Jones. And he only gained a couple more after that, but boy, you like the desire and the effort and the determination by Jones.
Yeah, had Will Davis, who's been playing very well here in the second half for the Aggies. But he kept his feet moving, was able to run out of the tackle and get positive yardage.
7-yard reception that time. Sets up a 3rd and 2. Another big third down in this game. Faulkner, a draw. Aggies stop it. Might have lost some yards. A TFL, and it brings up a 4th down. And the crowd, you can hear them getting into this.
And you just realize that when you're not a very strong running game team, that when you need a 3rd and 1 or a 3rd and 2, they just don't have confidence in it. This time, a sprint draw, a reverse pivot sprint draw, Utah State plenty of time on defense to react.
Going to punt the football away. Fair catch called for and made by Morrison. And will he be the quarterback?
And momentum has certainly flipped now. Aggies with a big scoring run by Smith. Get the 3 and out on defense. San Jose State can't come up with a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. And now the Aggie offense right back on the field. And I think you're right. It is Morrison still back there.
Utah State quarterback situation has been very interesting this year. You think about it, you thought it was going to be Alex Hart. He leaves the team. And then it's Chucky Keaton. You thought you might see both of them in the Auburn game, but Keaton played so well that it was really his job. Here's Turbin across the 30. And then Keaton gets hurt against Hawaii. And then it's Kennedy. And Kennedy, not real effective in that first half. And then they go with Morrison, the receiver. Bizarre set of circumstances. And they have a chance here as the third quarter comes to an end. A chance to get closer to being bowl eligible. 23-21, Spartans in front, but the momentum is certainly Utah